Hi, this is John with Fix It Planet. Today we have a Droid Maxx, the XT1080, Verizon model. Screen's all smashed up. So it's kind of surprising to see this phone in 2018. And it's really filthy too. But it's easy to repair. So this one is kind of awkward because it's got a lot of gunk in there. So we're going to take this little metal tool and just work around these volume buttons and power keys. And all you're going to do is separate the back from the frame. And it sits down in the bottom. So you'll pull it out from the top and then slide it out from the bottom. And just slide it back in again when you're ready for the new one. So this one's pretty cool because, you know, really you don't have to take off anything major. We're going to take 4 screws out off the bottom antenna cap here. All 4 of these screws are the same, unlike the ones at the top. So you have 4 T5 screws at the bottom, 4 T5 screws at the top, and this one next to the camera here is one long T4. See, it's much longer than the other T5s. So don't forget where that goes. Now there's a little rubber grommet there. There's some nastiness over that. Speaker grill. We're going to clean all that up before we finish. Now just kind of be careful because these tend to have a little sticky stuff. This could just be sticky stuff from the customer. I don't know. Anyway, now this one has some little clips on either side. Right there's one clip. We're going to use a metal tool to get to that. And there is a motherboard, a little logic board behind there, so be careful because there are some things in there that you could knock off, bend. So we're going to take the metal tool, we're going to take this little clip, and we're just going to pry it up. Ooh, see, that's nasty. Some stuff down inside the headphone jack and a whole bunch of junk along the side there. And this side here, again, same thing. We're going to pry that up and it just sort of snaps out. And again, be careful of that logic board there. Now, here's where it gets kind of funny because you're going to be, I can't get this off. Why won't it come off? Well, the rear-facing camera is just stuck inside there, so we want to reach in there with our nylon spudger and pry that loose from the housing right there. So we're just gonna pull it down, get it out of there, and there we go. So we'll definitely be washing our hands when we get done here. Look at this. What is that? Oh my God. That's really nasty. So there's some videos on this repair from 2015. It's really old. I don't know if anybody's going to care about this video. But, you know, I had it, so I thought I would go ahead and do it. Now this is your SIM tray and volume up and down keys. Oddly enough, they are one and the same. Now it's going to be a little different when you go to do the volume or the power button key, and we'll show you that here in a little bit. we've only got 2 screws to take out of this logic board here. We're going to leave the NFC antenna, battery, everything is going to stay connected. The only thing that we are going to transfer is the speaker assembly, the ear speaker assembly, which is at the top of the phone on the left-hand side of the screen here, right above the camera. And somewhere along the way, the video, I thought it was recording, it wasn't recording, and yeah, it seems to be a trend that keeps occurring here lately. And this is my new phone too, so I don't know why I'm having this issue now. Anyway, this is the new frame. I'm just setting it side by side, essentially in the same direction. So you have a screw here and a screw over there. Here is one, and here is another one. Again, these are T5 as well. And those are the only 2 screws that look like that, so you shouldn't have any problem remembering where those go. Front-facing camera just kind of lifts out of its socket there. Can stay connected. Now that little speaker I just pointed to, that's the one that you're going to see me take it out, but you'll never get to see me put it back in. Something went wrong during the recording of the video, and we had to do it again. And anyway, here's your connector for the display panel. In this case, it happens to have some Kapton tape right over the top of it. Whoop-de-doo, because that's so critical that we're not even going to bother putting it back. You can if you want, if you're nervous that it might come loose, but it shouldn't. And this little sort of a clamp needs to be raised up for us to get this cable out of the connector. Once you raise it up, it comes right on out, and there's the entire phone. We do need this ear speaker though, because we're going to transfer that over to the new frame. And there's a little bit of there's a small sort of fiber screen and a little bit of sticky stuff. We really want to try and keep that if we can, so we can just reuse it. So try not to damage all that. And you can see here this is a little crooked, so we're going to take the tweezers and we're going to sort of straighten that out a little bit. It's still real nice and sticky, so that will help, even though it's a little bit dirty. Pay attention to the orientation when you take it out so that you don't put it in upside down or backwards, whichever the case may be. You may need to refer back to this video to see the original orientation. Now there's this little thing here, and mine, I don't know, it's not supposed to be laid flat like that. It should be not flat like this. It should actually be folded over. It has a little brass contact on it. I suppose it's probably for grounding. All it does is press against a metal shield on the back of the motherboard. So, I don't know, mine came kind of weird. So we're going to fold it up. You can just see how it's kind of got that copper facing there. We want to make sure that's facing upward. Now here, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Our new frame didn't come with the power button, and we're going to have to transfer that over, and it's not as straightforward as you might think. Those 3 holes right there, we don't want to mess with the new frame's holes, but we don't want to damage the actual posts that stick inside the holes from the new power button. And it is actually a cast metal of some sort, so it could break, it can bend, so you kind of got to watch out for that. And these little guys here on the left and right side, see a little bit closer here, have little knobs on them so that the button, so the little key can't just fall out of the holes, but they are sort of beveled inward so that you can shove them back in the hole. So they're designed to shove in the hole but not come out of the hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a razor knife and we're just going to shave the sort of plastic hole off of the old frame, shave it around on the inside a little bit, and widen that hole just enough to get that thing out of there. And we'll use a pair of tweezers to push them through the holes, trying not to break them. So I got that left side out pretty easily, but the right side was still, you can see there, it does not want to come out. So we're going to take the razor knife and shave a little more around that post. We're not shaving the post itself, we're actually shaving the plastic hole that it fits into. Just trying to make it a little bit easier so that will actually come out. Alright, so now we've gotten it out. We've managed to bend one of the posts, so we'll want to straighten that up, and it's really disgustingly filthy. We'll just clean it up a little bit while we have it out. You can see that one's bent a little bit. So we don't want to break it off, so we're just going to lay it down, use our spudger, and kind of straighten it back out again. And we'll just use a toothbrush or something to kind of clean that up. There we go. That's better. Now this thing does fit in a specific direction, and it's sort of, the center post is notched. So if you just take a look at the holes, you'll notice that the corresponding holes match that center post, so that you can't put it in the wrong direction. Don't know why that really matters, but that's how it is. Now this is a little bit tricky because you don't have a whole lot of room to work. There's not a lot of slack in that cable there. So you may have to fidget around a little bit to get that in there, but you want to make sure that it goes all the way inside the connector, not crooked or anything like that. You can see the little white line just inside the connector. Then we'll clamp it down, and now this will fit down inside the frame. There's our little ground piece. I'm just guessing. I don't know what it's for. We're just going to make sure that that's touching the way it should, and then this sort of fits into the frame on the left side here, and then just sits right on down in there nicely. If it doesn't, then you have not set the left side in properly. You'll notice that the ear speaker is already in place, so make a note of that, and pay attention to the orientation, because it does matter which direction they are. There's two little contacts on either side of the speaker, and if they are turned around the other direction, they will not make contact, and you'll get no sound. So we put our two screws back into the motherboard, and we're putting the 4 back in on the bottom antenna cap there. Now this one, if you remember, had a couple of clips on either side. So we're just going to make sure that it's seated properly, and then we're going to snap those right there and right there. We're going to make sure those are snapped into position. And we'll put our 4 T5 screws in. Ooh, we'll start with the first one. The long one, which is the T4. Just go ahead and start with that one. Why not? So you'll see that there's still some crud all over that loudspeaker. Yeah, we're just going to brush that up a little bit with a toothbrush, and then we're going to take some high pressure air, and we'll blow it out. Sorry, you can't see me blowing it out. Yeah, okay. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Well, this phone's been around the block a few times, hasn't it? So this is basically all there is to it. We're going to clean this outer grill for that loudspeaker the same way with a toothbrush, and this time we'll use a little bit of alcohol. Scrub it up and clean it up, blow it out with some air pressure. Wipe everything down a little bit. Yeah, that's not the actual camera, that's a sensor, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of clean that up a little bit as well while we have it out. Now we'll just shove that frame down inside the bottom part, and then we can just snap it down around the edges. And just make sure everything is seated. Now we have our volume keys and SIM tray combination there. We're just going to slide that into position. Once it's in place, it just does its job. So I do not have the lock screen password for this phone. I won't be able to go through any more than the basic functions of the actual touchscreen. Do the buttons work? Is it charging? Does everything look okay? And the buttons on the bottom are working, and the vibrator's working, and all that kind of good stuff. That's about as good as we can do, since the customer said he wasn't giving us the password. And we'll just take something, clean this off. It was pretty dirty, so we're going to go ahead and wipe all that down. And you know, it's about as good as it's going to get. It's almost like new again. I'd say for a phone from, what, 2015, I think? 3 years old. Maybe even older than that. I don't remember. I don't remember when this thing came out. It's at least 3 years. It's probably more than 3 years old at this point. 3.5 years? Something like that. 4 years? Who knows? Maybe somebody will tell us exactly when this phone was released. I know there's a bunch of videos that were released on doing some repairs on this one in 2015. So just to show that it is reading the SIM card, we have Verizon Wireless here. We have 4G LTE at the top there. And we'll just plug it in. Make sure this thing is charging okay. Prompt boot. Waiting for that message to show up. 4G LTE, Verizon Wireless. Now, when we plug it in, you'll be able to see here, we're charging 85% now. Got the lightning bolt at the top, and we're good to go. So, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it's useful to someone out there. If you guys like these videos, please like and subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. really helps me out when you do that. So I'll try to keep on going. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye now.